بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
The aperture, could you slide share, please? Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good morning. And good morning from Doha, Qatar. And then good afternoon, I think, in Indonesia now. And then our beloved sisters and brothers from all over the world. I'm Hendriadi, a master student in Hamad bin Khalifa University in Qatar, as a master of ceremony that will guide you to an entire of the event today. Welcome to this spiritual event, the next Muslim generation. So before we go further, I would like to remind to our beloved participants, please stay mute, and then also you can turn on camera, but I think now is also like a huge participant, but it's okay also if you like stay remain to video off. Our beloved participant, honorable speakers and the guests, this event is collaborated by PERMIQA, Persatuan Masyarakat Indonesia in Qatar, Kajian MADANI, IMUSKA, PIAI Qatar, and KAIFA, Aulaadunaa Dukhan, PEMBICARA Taqwa, Mesaieed, PIAI Alkhor, Qurrota'ayun, and Alkhor. And I will give you attention about house rules of today. So please your cooperation. So the first one, mute your microphone. Be respectful of the speakers. Next, be attentive, of course. Listen carefully and take a note because it's going to be very exciting of today. And then turn off your camera, please, because we will to make sure that you have a stable on signal. And then type your question on the chat column. Thank you for your cooperation. So this is the entire of the agenda of today. We start the opening, national anthem, Quran recitations, remarks by the Kajian MADANI Qatar, remarks by the PEMBICARA, opening speech by the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia, sharing session by Kharisa Rahmasari, sharing session by Junikono Pratama, and compilation things, the next Muslim generation video, and presentation by Muhammad RIDHA, discussion, the next Muslim generation video display, and closing. Quran recitation and the translation performed our beloved brothers, Muhammad Nabil Al-Rayan and Muhammad Sayyid Azizan. Time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Pak, maaf ini saya pakai HP Abi karena HP saya error nih Webex-nya.
Okay, it's okay.
A'udzu billahi minasy syaithanir rajim. وإذ قال لقمان لابنه وهو يعظه يا بني لا تشرك بالله إن الشرك لظلم عظيم ووصينا الإنسان بوالديه حملته أمه وهنا على وهن وفصاله في عامين أن اشكر لي ولوالديك إلي المصير وإن جاهداك على أن تشرك بي ما ليس لك به علم فلا تطعهما وصاحبهما في الدنيا معروفا واتبع سبيل من أناب إليه ثم إلي مرجعكم فأنبئكم بما كنتم تعملون يا بني إنها إن تك مثقال حبة من خردل فتكن في صخرة أو في السماوات أو في الأرض يأت بها الله إن الله لطيف خبير يا بني أقم الصلاة وأمر بالمعروف وانه عن المنكر واصبر على ما أصابك إن ذلك من عزم الأمور ولا تصعر خدك للناس ولا تمش في الأرض مرحا إن الله لا يحب كل مختال فخور صدق الله العظيم.
Refuge in Allah from the cursed shaitan's tension. In the name of Allah, the most beneficent, most merciful. And remember when Luqman said to his son when he was advising him, O my son, join not in worship others with Allah. Verily, joining others in worship with Allah is a great strong indeed. And we have enjoined upon man care for his parents. His mother carried him, increasing her in weakness upon weakness, and his weaning is in 2 years. Be grateful to me and to your parents. To me is the final destination. But if they in the four to make you associate with me that of which you have no knowledge, do not obey them, but accompany them in this world with appropriate kindness, and follow the way of those who turn back to me in repentance. Then to me will be returned, and I will inform you about what you used to do. And Luqman said, O my son, indeed, if wrong should be the weight of a mustard seed, and should be within a rock or anywhere in the heavens or in the earth, Allah will bring it forth. Indeed, Allah is subtle and acquainted. O my son, establish prayer, enjoin what is right, forbid what is wrong, and be patient over what befalls you. Indeed, all that is of the matter is determination. And do not turn your cheek in contempt towards people, and do not walk through the earth exultantly. Indeed, Allah does not like everyone self-deluded and boastful. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
MashaAllah, thank you very much, Brother Nabil and Syed Azizan, for great recitations and then translation. Well, honorable ladies and gentlemen, now we are moving to the next agenda, remarks. The first remarks will be delivered by the chairperson of Kajian Madani, by Ustadz Sudirman Satar. Time is yours.
Ya, baik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alhamdulillah, alladhi anzala al-Qur'an hidayatan lil alamin wa nuran lil mu'minin wa hujjatan li khalqillahi ajma'in. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'd. Pagi yang berbahagia ini, alhamdulillah, kita semua bisa berkumpul dalam suasana youth virtual event. Kemudian hal ini patut kita syukuri kepada Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Selanjutnya salawat serta salam kepada Nabi kita baginda Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Beliau adalah bukan hanya teladan di dunia, tapi juga nanti sampai di akhirat kelak. Bukan hanya untuk kaum muslimin, tapi juga untuk seluruh alam semesta. Hadirin ikhwatal iman rahimakumullah. Selanjutnya yang kami hormati Duta Besar Republik Indonesia untuk Qatar, yang kami hormati Ketua PERMIQA Bapak Ahmad Syarnubi, juga kami ucapkan rasa hormat yang tak terhingga juga kepada para narasumber kita pagi ini, yaitu Bapak Muhammad Ridho, Kang Juniko, dan Kak Kharisa. Juga abang kita yang ganteng, Pak Moderator dan MC, yaitu Kak Akhyar dan Kak Henry. Juga saya sangat bangga, ya, saya bangga sekali kepada adik-adik remaja, bahkan anak-anak kami semuanya yang telah hadir dalam acara Youth Virtual Event dengan tema The Next Muslim Generation. Acara virtual event ini merupakan event yang kedua, yaitu hasil kerjasama dan kolaborasi dari PERMIQA, Kajian MADANI Qatar, PPI atau Persatuan Pelajar Indonesia di Qatar, IMUSKA, yaitu Indonesian Muslim Student Society in Korea, kemudian KAIFA Doha, Aulaadunaa Dukhan, TPA Taqwa Mesaieed, TPA Qurrota'ayun Mesaieed, TPA Alkhor, Wakrah, dan PIAI Alkhor. Terima kasih kepada seluruh pihak yang telah mendukung acara ini. Semoga bisa terlaksana dengan baik dan sempurna sampai akhir nanti. Tak lupa juga kami menginformasikan bahwa acara ini diikuti juga oleh peserta diaspora muda, ya, dari berbagai negara, di antaranya Qatar, GCC, Malaysia, US, Korea, Australia, Eropa, dan juga remaja Indonesia. Masya Allah, luar biasa. Seluruh dunia ini. Kami mengucapkan terima kasih atas partisipasinya. Hadirin ikhwatal iman rahimakumullah. Seperti yang telah kita ketahui bersama bahwa di era generasi Z saat ini, teknologi seolah sudah di tangan kita. Dan belajar pun sudah tidak terbatas lagi, terlebih dengan adanya pandemi ini. Namun, pengalaman langsung belajar di negeri asing dalam kondisi berbeda dengan tanah air maupun Qatar akan selalu memberikan cerita yang luar biasa dan pengalaman yang sangat berharga tentunya. Di pagi ini kita akan mendengarkan kisah para pembelajar dan kesehariannya sebagai sosok pemuda Indonesia yang berprestasi di negara Amerika Serikat dan Korea Selatan. Diharapkan acara ini dapat memotivasi banyak generasi muda Indonesia untuk meneladani sosok-sosok inspirasi, ya, sosok-sosok inspiratif yang akan berbagi pada hari ini. Dan bersama-sama mewujudkan the next Muslim generation. Terakhir, tak lupa atas nama segenap panitia, kami memohon maaf atas segala kekurangan dalam pelaksanaan acara pagi ini. Demikian kata sambutan yang dapat kami sampaikan. Wal-'afwu minkum wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Jazakallah Ustaz for your great remarks. Okay, next we are going to the second remarks from the chairman of PERMIQA, Mr. Ahmad Sharnubi. Time is yours, Pak. Pak Ahmad Syarnubi. You can unmute, Pak. Okay, so I think we have lost connection with the chairman of PEMBICARA. I think we are moving to the next agenda, the opening speech from the Ambassador of Republic of Indonesia for the State of Qatar, His Excellency Mr. Ridwan Hassan. Time is yours.
Baik, terima kasih banyak Mas Henry. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Sabahul khair. Insyaallah semuanya dalam keadaan sehat walafiat.
Alhamdulillah
Ya.
sehat.
Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in, amma ba'du. Saya mau bilang bapak-bapak, ibu-ibu, saya bingung. Mau bilang adik-adik, anak-anak juga bingung karena ada yang levelnya anak usianya, ada yang levelnya bapak gitu ya. Barangkali yang paling pas semuanya itu adalah saudara dan saudari ya, brothers and sisters. Karena itu akan membuat kita menjadi lebih dekat barangkali ya. Apalagi ketika kita berbicara sebagai sama muslim pun pada dasarnya kan kullu muslim ikhwan. Betulkah Pak Ustadz ya?
Betul.
Ya.
Betul.
Jadi saya alhamdulillah sebagai duta besar Indonesia di Qatar ini sudah 2,5 bulan kira-kira sampai di sini. Nampaknya memang dari hari ke hari menjadi tua saya di sini. Cuma subhanallah, pagi ini saya dapat doping. Saya dapat doping karena saya ketemu dengan satu acara yang di bawah kegiatan kajian madani yang disebut dengan Next Muslim Generation. Ketemu anak muda seperti tadi saya bilang. Kita menjadi lebih muda, kita menjadi lebih bersemangat. Terima kasih untuk acara ini. Saya sangat apresiasi. Boleh tepuk tangan barangkali ya untuk acara ini ya, semuanya.
Sama-sama.
Ya, jadi pertama tentu selamat kepada kajian madani, tentu atas dukungan juga dari PERMIQA, dari PPI ya. Dari berbagai pihak yang tidak mungkin saya sebutkan satu persatu, dan yang paling penting juga adalah minat dan antusiasme dari seluruh peserta untuk mengikuti acara pada pagi hari ini. Insya Allah menjadi satu acara yang penuh barokah. Kedua, saya juga melihat atau mendengar ya bahwasanya pagi ini akan ada beberapa narasumber selain tentu dari Pak Ustadz Sudirman tadi yang telah menyampaikan sambutan, Pak Syarnubi yang sambutannya tertunda, Pak Henry, ini mahasiswa aktivis yang selalu udah berapa kali kita ketemu Pak ya, semakin hari kayak saya, dia kalah muda daripada saya, jenggotnya semakin hari semakin bertambah. Dan saya lihat ada nama Pak Muhammad Ridho, Pak Juniko, Ibu Dr. Harisa, semua ini adalah contoh-contoh dari yang ada di grup ini yang semuanya hebat-hebat. Nah, karena acara ini acara bagus, saya merasa sangat senang bisa ketemu dan saya tunggu begitu lama dan alhamdulillah pagi ini kita sampai. Kita mengetahui bahwasanya Indonesia sebagai satu negara yang kita cintai bersama adalah satu negara yang penuh dengan rahmat, penuh dengan karunia Allah Subhanahu wa taala. Negara yang kaya raya alamnya, kaya raya dengan penduduknya, kaya raya dengan adat istiadat segala macam. Tapi tentu juga tidak bisa kita lepaskan kekayaan itu pun, kelebihan-kelebihan yang diberikan Allah SWT itu ada satu tantangan di situ. Ada tantangan-tantangan yang kalau tidak kita kelola dengan baik, dia bisa menjadi satu musibah. Nah, barangkali di sini peranan sumber daya manusia menjadi penting, bahkan kadang-kadang lebih penting daripada sumber daya alam itu sendiri. Nah, momen pagi ini saya lihat adalah ketika para next Muslim generation ini mau berkumpul membahas bersama tentang hal-hal kehidupan yang berjalan sekarang dan masa depan kita. Saya kira ini sangat tepat. Nah, bagaimana kita bisa mengelola kehidupan kebangsaan kita ke depan dengan cara yang lebih baik? Tentu saja dibutuhkan insan-insan yang berkualitas, baik dari segi ipteknya, dari segi ilmu pengetahuannya, dan dari segi iman dan takwa barangkali. Jadi selain kecerdasan yang sifatnya pengetahuan dan teknologi, kita juga membutuhkan orang-orang yang punya integritas, spiritualitas yang kuat, ya. Dan ini barangkali sudah menjadi komitmen dari para peserta saudara yang hadir pada pagi hari ini. Nah, kalau sedikit saya boleh berbagi cerita, saya sendiri sudah bekerja di Kementerian Luar Negeri, menjadi bekerja di pemerintahan, ya, itu 34 tahun, kira-kira hampir 34 tahun. Walaupun kadang-kadang mungkin orang bisa melihat saya, apalagi kalau saya buka kacamata ini, seperti saya baru 34 tahun juga gitu. Seolah-olah antara masa kerja dengan usia saya itu sebanding. Tapi ya lagi-lagi barangkali karena pagi ini saya ketemu dengan adik-adik semua, ya. Nah, jadi tentu semangat ini barangkali yang bisa membuat kita tetap menjadi muda meskipun usia kita tambah, karena ada satu semangat yang kuat untuk terus mengabdi, beribadah, dan memperbaiki dan meningkatkan kualitas kehidupan kita dari hari ke hari. Saudara-saudara sekalian, mungkin juga kembali kepada apa yang tadi saya sampaikan, betapa pentingnya kita menjaga kualitas kehidupan kita yang berimbang antara kemampuan ilmiah pada satu sisi dengan kemampuan spiritualitas kita secara berimbang. Nah, ada beberapa pembicara tadi saya sebutkan, ini menunjukkan kualitas-kualitas tersebut, ya. Pak Muhammad RIDHA sebetulnya kita ketahui sebagai Vice President of Indonesian Muslim Society in America, sekaligus pendiri perusahaan software startup di Amerika Serikat. Ini kan satu bukti bahwasanya generasi muda Indonesia itu bisa tampil di panggung internasional, ya. Saya kebetulan pernah tugas di sana, Pak Muhammad RIDHA. Saya tahun 2006 sampai 2010 di KBRI Washington, dan alhamdulillah juga ya di sana saya ketemu dengan Ustaz Samsi Ali, ya, Ustaz Joban, dan banyak sekali aktivis-aktivis kita di sana. Saya ya termasuk juga ada imam gitu, ya, kita di Washington Greater Area gitu, ya. Alhamdulillah kehidupan masyarakat Indonesia di sana juga sangat aktif begitu, ya, memberikan warna keislaman yang yang kontributif gitu, ya, di tengah tantangan yang dihadapi. Kemudian ada Pak Juniko Nur Pratama, calon doktor di bidang energi terbarukan dari Korea Selatan. Annyeonghaseyo, barangkali itu kata-kata bahasa Korea yang bisa saya ucapkan. Bidang ini tentu adalah satu bidang juga yang menjadi satu tantangan masa depan yang yang Indonesia mempunyai potensi untuk berbuat lebih banyak. Kemudian ada Dr. Harisa Rahmasari, ini disebutkan seorang yang banyak menerima award dan beasiswa, yang saat ini sedang mengambil residensi di Weill Cornell Medicine New York. Betulkah Ibu? Nah, itu juga lagi-lagi satu bukti bahwa kita bisa tampil. Memang secara keseluruhan kalau kita lihat, ya, keterwakilan masyarakat atau bangsa Indonesia di forum global itu dibandingkan dengan bangsa-bangsa lain, kita mungkin masih underrepresentatif, ya. Jumlah orang-orang Indonesia yang berkualitas, yang beraktivitas di panggung internasional itu masih sangat sedikit dibandingkan dengan katakanlah saudara-saudara kita dari negara-negara yang lain. Apalagi our lovely brothers coming from India, from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, you know. Jadi ini mungkin padahal bukan kita tidak sanggup. Kadang-kadang kita agak suka malu-malu, ya, suka mungkin terlalu humble ya. Barangkali ini bisa dikembangkan di kalangan generasi muda yang sudah hidup di luar negeri. Nah, kemudian harapan kita barangkali seperti saya sampaikan tadi adalah bagaimana kita menumbuhkan insan-insan Indonesia yang berkualitas dari segi impact, tapi sekaligus juga tidak kalah dari segi impactnya. Kemudian karena saya dengar banyak juga peserta ini yang berasal dari diaspora Indonesia, katanya tidak begitu paham bahasa Indonesia. Nah, saya kebetulan bahasa Indonesia saya insya Allah mungkin bagus ya dibandingkan yang lain. Tapi kalau saya berbicara bahasa asing bukan berarti saya tidak menghargai bahasa Indonesia saya. Sedikit boleh mungkin menyampaikan to our brothers and sisters who are living in different countries for many years. My suggestion is try to improve your bahasa Indonesia and also try to contribute more to see how Indonesia can progress and contribute to the rest of the world. So in this regard, be prepared to be qualified human resources, not only limited to the scientific aspect, but also to our spiritual activities. So with that, we are going to have a better quality of next Muslim generation, contributing to our own life, as well as to our nation and to the rest of the world. Insyaallah dengan itu kita bisa memberikan manfaat yang signifikan. Allow me untuk mengutip satu hadis yang saya dapatkan juga dari teman-teman. Mudah-mudahan ini bermanfaat, sekedar untuk review saja. Dalam bahasa Arabnya disebutkan Irtanim khamsan gabla khamsin, syababaka gabla haramik, wasihataka gabla sagamik, wa ghinaka gabla fagrik, wa faragaka gabla syaglik, wa hayataka gabla mautik. Jadi kalau mudah-mudahan bahasa Arabnya benar ini, mudah-mudahan ya. Tapi bahasa Inggrisnya kira-kira hadis itu bermakna youth before old age, health before sickness, wealth before poverty, free time before preoccupation, and life before death. Intinya kita harus menyiapkan diri kita untuk beberapa hal yang penting ke depan, seperti menjaga kesehatan, mengatasi masalah kemiskinan, memberikan manfaat bagi masyarakat lain, apalagi sekarang kita dihadapkan dengan pandemik yang melanda seluruh dunia. Saya kira yang paling penting adalah menjaga diri, menjaga kesehatan kita, terlepas dari berbagai macam pandangan. Satu fakta, penyakit ini memang luar biasa, berkembangnya pesat, tapi dengan semangat menjaga diri dan semangat juga percaya kepada kekuatan Allah SWT, Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, insya Allah kita semua sehat. Demikian barangkali. Selamat beraktivitas, mudah-mudahan hari ini menjadi hari yang penuh barokah, dan saya juga titipkan anak saya ikut di program ini, sehingga kalau nanti saya meninggalkan forum ini karena ada kewajiban lain, mohon dapat dimaklumi. Jadi saya meninggalkan forum ini secara fisik, tapi jiwa saya tetap bersama bapak-bapak dan ibu-ibu sekalian. Kata bahasa Arabnya wa imma bijasadi biruhi, katanya begitu. Insyaallah demikian, wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much Pak Dubes.
Sama-sama.
Always great and love your jokes and always young because the age is just a number. Thank you Pak Dubes.
Sama-sama, terima kasih.
Okay. Now we are moving to our next agenda. I would like to inform as well, like to all participants, they bring your attention and then just post a chat if you have any questions. So now we are going to the sharing sessions. So I would like to introduce our brother, Bro Ahyar Imaduddin Kamili, as our moderator of today. He is a software engineer at Snunu, one of the growing startup in Qatar now. and he graduated from Carnegie Mellon University in Qatar in majoring in computer science 2020. And also, Brother Ahya has a lot of leadership roles previously. He was a president of Carnegie Mellon University Qatar Muslim Student Association in 2017 to in 2019. Also, he was a president of Indonesian Student Association, PPI Qatar in 2018-2020. And time issues, Brother Ahya.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. I am excited to start. Thank you, His Excellency Pak Dubes, Pak Ridwan. Thank you, Mas Henry. To all my friends here. I think it's time for us to get into the meat of this event. So I'm sure you can't wait. You're not here to hear me speak. So we have our next speaker here, Carissa. Carissa is an old friend of mine, so you know we've been here for quite a while in the US. But however, we live in a different place right now. And guys, please super appreciate Carissa because right now I think it's 1 a.m. in New York. So she's really gone out of her way, okay, to share with us. So Carissa is she is an internal medicine resident doctor in New York City, a very busy city, I believe. She earned the Qatar Foundation Merit Scholarship. She was awarded. She was one of the recipients for medical education at Weill Cornell Medicine Qatar. If you are here in Qatar, you might have heard, how tough it is there and how hard it is to get a scholarship all the way there. So Carissa, I hope you're with me here.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity.
So how are you? You're like
good, alhamdulillah. It's good to see you, and it's always refreshing to see.
So Carissa, let's start. I want to discuss a little bit first, I guess, about your story or your journey. You came from Indonesia. You were not raised in a diaspora. So how did you get here? How did you go to you got into Abu Dhabi, into Qatar, and now into the US? How did it all start?
Well, I was born and raised in Magelang, which is a small town in Java. And I decided I always wanted to study abroad since I was a kid. And my parents kind of give me the freedom to choose what I want to do and where I want to go. So I went to high school in Depok, Lazuardi High School. And during the time when I was there, I learned about a program at NYU Abu Dhabi, which is it's a New York University portal campus. So NYU has 12 sites around the world. One of them is in Abu Dhabi, and at the time it was a new campus. So I applied there. It started off with sending an essay, and I passed through the essay. They invited me to come there to go through a candidate weekend, and there's a process where if you apply for college in the US, you'll know there is a Common App application. So I did that, and there's just a normal college application, and then alhamdulillah, I got in, and with a scholarship, and it was a full ride scholarship. The nice thing about NYU Abu Dhabi was that it's a program where it encourages their students to travel the world. So during the time when I was there, alhamdulillah, I had the opportunity to go to different countries to take courses around NYU sites, including in Argentina. I spent a winter term in Buenos Aires, alhamdulillah, and then London, and then I spent a year in New York. And during the time, as some of you probably know, in American system college, you don't have to decide your major in the beginning when you apply. So basically you go through first, second year, and then you declare your major in your second year. So I decided I've always liked science since I was in high school. And so I decided to do biology major. Initially, I thought between going into PhD, but then I found out that I liked medicine, I like human body. So I decided to go to pre-medical track and learned about Cornell in Qatar. So Cornell in Qatar is a program that is also a joint program between Qatar Foundation and Cornell University in New York. They established the program, I think, in 2004. And the nice thing about this program is that Qatar Foundation have a lot of scholarship opportunities compared to medical schools in the US. As those who are familiar with the American system, medical school is very expensive in the US, and there are not many scholarship opportunities for people who are not US citizens. So I learned about Qatar, Cornell Qatar, and so I applied. And you don't really need to worry about the tuition there, because as long as you get in, there are different options in terms of how you finance your education. There is the financial aid, which is again, it's a financial aid scholarship. So they take into account your parents' incomes, how many siblings you have, and how many siblings are in school, how much their school costs. So those kind of things that they can help you the tuition for that period of time. And then if you do well in school, so after the first semester, you can apply for the merit-based scholarship. And they take a look into your GPA. In the time that I was there, you had to be invited, or you had to be nominated to be able to apply for the merit-based scholarship, because they do screening first from the GPA, and then based on that, they'll send you an email saying, by the way, you are nominated to apply, so go ahead if you want to apply. So alhamdulillah, I did apply, and alhamdulillah, I got the merit scholarships, and yeah.
That probably was not easy to do, right? In the first semester, you have to do really well. I think GPA minimum is like 4.
Yeah, I mean, you put your efforts, your best efforts there anyways. So, and you pray that Allah will make things easy for you. So, yeah.
Alhamdulillah, he did.
Alhamdulillah, it worked out.
Yes. I was saying about you were saying about the doctor as a doctor in the US. How did how did you manage, in these times? What did you find especially difficult, and how did you manage that?
I think the one thing that really changed, one thing is during COVID pandemic, you cannot really travel. So that's a big thing for me, because every slightly long weekend, I would go somewhere, travel to different states, or even go home, like to Indonesia. I usually go home like twice a year, but this time I haven't gone home for 2020 was completely, I was here, and I couldn't go to other states because there's a lot of travel restrictions. Other than that, though, I found actually strength in the things that I didn't expect. A lot of things happened during pandemic. Not just COVID. The US has a lot of issues going on around the same time, from politics, and then civil unrest to some extent. And I found that I just feel grateful that people around me, my coworkers, the program that I'm in, the people that I meet every day in the hospital are pretty much in the same frequency in terms of our views and how to deal with all of this around the same time. So, yeah.
I see. Mashallah. I think, of course, that's very much all of us. We find that strength in people around us. So, just along the line of questioning, I ask you as a doctor, as an Indonesian person, I guess Indonesia, as the ambassador has said earlier, that we are kind of underrepresented. I don't think you really see that many Indonesians, even in New York, which is one of the most diverse places in the US. How is life there as an Indonesian? Do people feel as like Malaysia?
Well, I get that a lot. I mean, it's hard to tell apart between Malaysian from Indonesian, but I know that I'm the only Indonesian in the hospital right now, working in the hospital.
Oh, wow. Okay.
The Indonesian people that I meet are, you know, from the like mostly students or the professional Indonesians who work in finance or the UN, for instance. And also we also do have Indonesian community in New York. It's probably one of the largest one in the US, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
MOHAMAD RIDHA probably knows more because he's been here for longer. But we have, yes, Dr. Imam Shamsi, Ustadz Imam Shamsi is here, and there's Indonesian community in Queens. So it's
you have some Indonesians around you, Yani.
Well, I don't see them a lot. So a lot of the people that I see every day are, you know, the Americans. And the nice thing is that when they see me, they, like, you know, people are curious. And when I tell them that I'm from Indonesia, they are excited. And I always plug, you should come to Indonesia, and you know, it's gorgeous country. I usually just ask them to like guess how many islands we have, and they would always get it wrong because I know it's like 17.
My favorite question, 17,000.
Exactly. So yeah, it's fun actually to be. Well, I wish there's more representation in terms of Indonesians in you know, professional field. But being the only Indonesian in my program in the hospital in general has been, you know, quite a fun experience, I would say. And I never feel different in a way, even though I wear hijab. And people, I mean, probably New York is a slightly different place compared to other places in the States, but you know, it's always been, alhamdulillah, it's always been a good experience when my patients, for instance, see me, or you know, my coworkers, they never look down or discriminate me because the way I look or the way I dress, which is nice.
But then, yeah, I guess that's sort of an obvious feature of you when people see you, right? Because I guess with the Muslim all around the world, especially in minorities, you know, you were very easily identifiable, you know, as
yeah, especially in the summer. Like, can you imagine? People are wearing tank tops and short pants, and you're wearing this full covered hijab, and people were wondering, aren't you hot? I mean, I never get asked that question, but I'm sure people probably wonder. But that being said, though, I feel that you know, people respect you if you're confident, if you show your confidence and you stay professional in the job that you are doing. And in fact, it actually has motivated me to do my best in you know, in many situations as a representation. As a Muslim, because I'm probably the first Muslim they see, or the first Muslim that they meet, and there are some close patients. One of the patients asked me, you know, why women wear headscarf in Islam, or why he had a friend who is a Muslim, and he asked why. I was told that by my friend that if I meet a Muslim woman, I shouldn't shake hand with them. And so I explained to them how Islam highly respects women and how we are treated in a way that we are precious. Like, you know, I used the analogy of diamond, as not everybody can see you or touch you unless you're like have credibility and have met the requirements to see and touch them.
You gotta I mean, you gotta have to explain it a few times, but you gotta have a little bit of courage or, you know, intention to explain this, because, you know, sometimes you're too tired to explain. Bro,
Yeah.
why don't you how did you get over that? Like, are you just sometimes if people are curious, you just always answer them, or how do you deal with this maybe uncomfortable sometimes situation?
Honestly, though, I haven't gotten asked that many times.
Okay.
This is probably because I've known this patient for by then it's 2 years, and he's elderly man, like American elderly man who's just curious.
Right.
And I was just so happy to explain it to him because I think it's a relevant question, and when he heard that explanation, he was like, he showed even more respect towards me, and I'm sure he would do the same to other Muslim women as well.
So, mashallah. So I guess if you can't find a lot of representation, be one, yeah? Be a representation.
Yeah.
Mashallah. Khair, that's a lot, Yani, to process so far. We have okay. So what would you say, overall, living in the US, bearing the Muslim identity? Oh, actually, sorry, I have one question with regards to US or society in general that you've seen, right? I guess a lot of us here usually see US through Hollywood. I guess now recently there's been more exposure of the US, and US has not seemed too good, recently. As someone who lives there, and as a Muslim as well, what do you think? What are some issues you see with, in general, perhaps with some of the characteristics of the people there, and how do you think that can be resolved if you get what I mean?
What do you mean characteristics?
So in a sense, like what are some perhaps challenges that their society face, if you have observed any, and what do you think about that? So yeah,
I think one of the biggest things that I notice here and I continue to learn is systemic racism, which, I mean, everybody knows about what happened with George Floyd. And I personally feel that COVID pandemic has revealed, it's like a tip of the iceberg, which just broke, and now everyone can see it. In the healthcare system, we notice that people of color are less fortunate, or they have less access to medical care. Hence, many of them have a lot of the comorbidities that put them at higher risk for more complications. Majority of them work as essential workers, and hence they have high risk of exposures. And when they come to the hospital, when they get sick, they get really sick. So this is just one aspect of the systemic racism that I observe, particularly in my field, in the medical field. I'm sure in other aspects, like in the judicial system, or other fields like economy, those also exist. But one thing that I'm glad to see was that people now realize that it's happening, because acknowledging that there is an issue is the first step to start thinking about how to fix it.
So
yeah.
Systemic racism is one issue that you see there. For yourself, Yani, as a Muslim, how do you think, does that exist? Does that, systemic racism is, of course, a child of racism in general, and I guess racism is a people problem on a lot of issues, and a societal problem as well. On an individual level, Yani, as a Muslim, how do you see that we can avoid this pitfall of racism in general?
I think as a Muslim, we can always go back to the history in Islam, right? The first thing that came to my head when what happened to George Floyd a few months ago was going back to Bilal, who is one of the best of the Prophet Sahaba and who's been guaranteed Jannah. And he's a black man. He was a slave. And at the same time, he's the best Sahaba, one of the best Sahaba of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So going back to those should remind us that we as Muslims should follow what the Prophet has exemplified in his lifetime. At the same time, though, I noticed that within the Ummah, within the Ummah itself, there is some level of hypocrisy in a way that, I mean, let's just be honest. When people go to Hajj or people go to Umrah and they see people of color, namely, you know, people who are darker skin, either from Africa or somewhere else, people kind of have some level of, you know, I would say they find reasons not to be around them. Like for any reasons, they're afraid of them.
Try to avoid
they don't feel comfortable to be around them. That alone, I think we need to be more conscious about what goes in our head, because whether we do it consciously or subconsciously, that is racism in itself.
Right.
So I just feel that yes, Islam has really good example from the time of the Prophet, how he treats people despite the color, Bilal being one of the examples. And we as Muslims should be more open and not having hypocrisy within ourselves, within the Ummah, when it comes to skin colors. And that Hajj and Umrah example, I think one of the most common ones that many Indonesians face.
I see. Of course, that's certainly a very, very, very nice insight. That although perhaps the solution to racism is always within our religion, maybe it's not embedded within us, because we are also a consumer of popular modern media culture, right? And whatever racism that was there also goes within us. So it's important for us to recognize that. All right, Tayyib, thank you so much, Kharissa, for your sharing session. I did not tell in particular, guys, Kharissa unfortunately cannot stay with us for a long time. It's already late there. Maybe she also has other things to attend to. So for Kharissa in particular, your questions, if you write them in the chat now, just type it down. She will, inshallah, respond to it offline. Right, Kharissa?
Sorry, what's that? I can't hear you.
Yeah, that if the participant has any questions, they will. I think you'll respond to them offline.
Sounds good. Thank you for the time. Good to see you guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the time, and do get some rest in the midst of busy life. Thanks for
I will. Thank you. Bye. Assalamualaikum.
So we'll jump on to the next session. Let's see who we are at here. Next we have our candidate, mashallah, Mas Juniko Nur Pratama. He is a PhD candidate at Renewable Energy Engineering at UST Korea, South Korea. He is also the president of currently Indonesian Muslim Student Society in South Korea. So I guess that's a lot of things to be there. Mas Juniko, are you with us?
Yes.
Oh, mashallah, mashallah. Mas Juniko, I believe you have a presentation to go through, yeah?
Yes.
Inshallah. Mas Juniko, always it's a big pleasure for us to have you here. We're hoping you can share a little bit of your experience. So tell us about your story, about life in Korea, and what do you think? How do you think we could be really a better generation of Muslims going forward? Please go ahead.
I'm sorry, I forget that in Korean, actually, the scholarship not only from the government. Actually, I get the scholarship from the university. UST is just a group institute, national institute that became the university. in Indonesia it's like, so yeah, most of us getting the scholarship. For me, just doing the government project, and then I get the scholarship.
The scholarship is from the Korean government.
Yes, yeah, but yeah, actually there are many universities in Korea that also give chance to get scholarship, KAIFA, and yeah, there are many other like UNIS also and SNU. And yeah, in order to do that, in order to get that, you have at least networking. I mean, your friend is it can give you more detail how register or can join the scholarship. If the requirement is good, and you can apply the registration, the requirement, and also your professor is accepting you, then you can join the scholarship. It's actually very easy.
I see.
The work. So yeah.
So for PhD, you say, it's a lot of it is about the network. It's about you knowing the professor, about getting there, getting recommendations. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Mashallah. So how did you build that network in Indonesia?
Yeah, actually, I study in University of Indonesia, and yeah, I get a lot of friends in Vienna, of course, and yeah, I always keep in touch with senior also with alumni. Actually, in my case, because the friend, my friend that fight me, it's my best friend, one of my best friends. So
I see, mashallah.
I'm very lucky guy just because of that.
So lesson here is find the great best friends. Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to keep in your mind that you have to choose selecting your friends in
So Mas Juniko, how's life in Korea? Can you tell us about life there right now and how you work? What's your daily life look like?
Okay. Okay. Please go to the next slide. I give example for the daily life in Korea. Actually, the part one is about the first life. So for students like me in that, the objective is to gain a new method, or as you can say, good publishing a good paper with high job.
Okay.
And aside of that, we also have to make friendly, sociable person, friends, especially to our professor, because without him cannot graduate. And also to the fellow researcher or math or neighbor. Yeah, actually, story is usually in Korea we have West or having dinner together. And usually, occasionally one month times. And most of this Sanim in here, Paskanim is the professor. Always asks us to for drinking alcohol and eat pork. Yeah,
that's very much a culture there.
Yeah, actually it's everywhere. Yeah, in Korea we can see that it's like their daily life. And fortunately in my lab, my professor is already have my friend as the senior friend, and because of that he understands that
he understands the Muslim the Muslim restrictions and stuff.
And it's pork. But my other friends that also a newbie like me and don't have any other Indonesian friend, obviously Muslim friends. Actually, they professor is happily, and yeah, they want to my friends to do it.
Okay.
It's one sick is good, it doesn't matter. So also a bit controversial in here, and one of the problematic case. Yeah. So yeah, we have to sacrifice this little thing. I mean, most cases, if the student is good in his iman, he will just reject the offer. But yeah, you have to sacrifice the intimate relationship. So, and yeah, with the Korean people, actually, most of the cases, they not see, yeah, discriminate us. Yeah, actually, they are not.
You don't feel discriminated.
Yeah, in my lab, the journal, I mean, if you study diligently, you doing like they command, like, and you obey every rule by your professor. And what the choice, pali means do it quickly. So if you, if your professor gives you some objective, you have to do it very quick. Maybe just one day it's enough. Very fast. If
does that mean there's a lot of pressure to work, yani, in Korea?
You can see less of my slide actually. And, but slide?
I think the slide has some issues about sharing. I've not been able to see the slides. Okay, now we can see the slides again. Okay. Yes.
In the part. Okay. I want also to share the other aspect of us.
Sure.
Yeah?
Go ahead.
Another Muslim friends like Pakistani, Bangladeshi, yeah, of course Malaysia, our neighbor, and many more actually. We often to meet at Islamic Center in university. We have Islamic Center, and you can learn Muslim culture, can discuss many things. First thing about our beberapa, or maybe also our Pakistani also the strategy to defeat him, like that. And also in Korea we also have the Indonesian community like PERMIQA, PPI for Korea, and also IMUSKA. Yeah, and we can discuss many things like worship, and many other skills that we can share. Obviously about language. Yeah, others.
That's
okay. The next part is many of you put that life in Korea because of you know that Korean wave, one of many Korean waves like Korean drama and K-pop. The drama, they always show happiness. They always show happy ending. But I noticed that. I noticed only in 1 month that life in Korea is very difficult. Yeah, you will have to do anything to get a job. Actually, the job opportunity is very scarce in here, difficult to get, and many high students are having part-time job, get extra money, even shift also, weekend also, of course, and the pressure from parents also wanting the children to get popular university also real. The pressure is very high, and even the idols in Korea also live with high pressure. Although it seems that they are very happy. In the stage they are happy, smiling. I like, but they are living high pressure. Do anything to get their popularity. And for us students, we also have to do things like I said before, we have to work very quickly, and from 8 to 8, And yeah, I
open the weekend, sleep in the lab.
It's the most different thing when I compare my study in Asia. First, I get my master degree, and I don't get that high pressure. Very different. Yeah, I know PhD life is very different from the masters. Yeah, but yeah, this is very late. Actually, elevate the intensity of your experience will be very raising your intensity. And yeah, the last is the fact that maybe you already know that Korea is almost top 10 in the world that having suicide case. Suicide is the number one cause of death, mostly in the young age. Mostly of them is suicide. Yeah, maybe every people in Korea already try to suicide. Mostly, most cases, the male person is the highest successful rate in the death, while in the woman, they try to suicide but not succeed. Have time.
So a lot of people actually try to kill themselves, but they usually don't succeed in the first attempt.
Sorry?
Yes. I was just asking, curious about that point in the last, that people try, a lot of people try to commit suicide, but they don't usually so yeah, people are now wondering if life in Korea is that really that stressful. So I guess this is where you will come into, talking about like being a Muslim there. Why do you think life in Korea is, or as you said, why is it so high pressure? Why is it so stressful? As a Muslim, where do you see this pressures coming from?
Actually, one of the reason I think is the prestige and prestigious life. Our friends, family want to see you as the successful person, and the start for the successful person is very high. I mean,
so they have very high standards of success.
Yeah, of the example, like marriage cost. Actually, cost the amount, right? It can be very high. Yes, or it can be adjusted with your thing. But in here, most of family wants to the ceremony in very high style, very expensive. In that way, if you derivate the problem, you have to be very rich, of course. You want to be very rich, you have to gain quality in your job, your field of interest. You want to be the academic, work in the sector, you have to be the best, like you have to become the sanim, the professor, so you can get many opportunity. If you want to be the idol in here or the actress, you have to be the top place, and in order to become the top, you have to do anything like something like acting, like in the dance club, you have to be in the dance club. Most cases that those that commit suicide is the reason is because they have feeling depressed when their friends is actually it's like very simple matter for us. We always have the people surround.
Suaranya kurang jelas.
Kurang jelas.
Sorry.
Okay. Most of the cases,
Yes, yes.
Most of the cases,
Yeah, sorry, go ahead, yes. You can, Mas Judika, can you try to turn off the video? Maybe it will help with the voice.
okay.
I think it's maybe it's a little slight of a connection issue for some. Like it's not for everyone. I could hear his voice quite clearly. Perhaps that's an issue here. Sorry about the technical issue. But I think let's I'll let Mas Juniko finish. So Mas, yeah, you said, I guess life in Korea is quite high pressure and stuff. How do you navigate this pressure, or this life, while also maintaining your Islam and your Iman? I guess that's probably not an easy job. How do you make it easy?
Yeah, actually, while I see the stressful condition in here, actually I am so very pleased and very grateful that I can meet other great Muslim friends like Pakistan guys, Bangladeshi, even Malaysia that just very near of Indonesia. I feel blessed that I can meet such many good friends, Muslim friends in here also, and that's why I can maintain my friends. Good sense.
So for you, it's true. It's your sanity. So it's true having good friends who can always remind you.
Yeah, it's very easy. Alhamdulillah, I get the scholarship in the big city, so I can meet the Muslim friend. But yeah, unfortunately, with the other of my friends have to be student in remote area. Yeah, maybe they having difficulties to relieve their stress. One of the way is just being a good community. So before the pandemic, I said for the pandemic, we always have a meeting with fellow Indonesian Muslims at least a month.
I see. So once a month you have a regular meeting with the Indonesian Muslims, yeah.
So yeah, we talk many things. But now after the corona, we're having the online meeting. So that's also have good vibes. I mean, we can get my friends that having what area have the problem. You
can also share. And I guess so you would say that being in Islamic society, like within that Islamic community, meeting regularly and like learning more about Islam helps you to navigate this the life there, I guess. And also you can feel also when iman is decrease or increase, right? I mean, yes. When you having your iman in the high state or increasing, yes, it's easy to think, you have a good motivation to work. There's also a very preference or standard for you. If you're feeling low, you have to stop a little bit, and then check your level of iman and recharge. Yeah, not every and how it is related to yourself. But yeah. Okay. Fine, Mas Juniko, thank you so much for your sharing session. I think some people had a little bit of issue. Quite a few of us had a little bit of issue hearing the voice. So I'll try to quickly wrap it up. Mostly here, Najla, most people here are from Indonesia. So yeah, thank you so much again, Mas Juniko, for sharing life in Korea. That although it is a developed country, right, and you always see a lot of beautiful things about Korea, life on the ground can be quite stressful, yeah. and sort of alhamdulillah, I think you mitigate and that by having a lot of a good community around you. So shukran again, jazakallah khair, Mas Juniko, for your sharing session. It was a pleasure. So I think we will jump on to the next session. We will have a small, a short video to share with you guys before we go into the one more session with Muhammad RIDHA from the US, with Muhammad RIDHA from the US. Okay, so you can take it off from the floor.
So a group of people were asked to record their thoughts on what they think about the next Muslim generation. And here are their answers.
I believe that the next Muslim generation will be more prone to false information because of the use of social media, and they will be more easily influenced badly.
The next Muslim generation will face many problems, and of them is the acceptance of LGBT. Some Muslims do not have a problem with it. What we need to do is to educate the Muslims to oppose LGBT, like how they would oppose racism, and to make them confident about it, so that Muslims in the future do not change the religion of Allah.
Assalamu alaikum. I think that the next generation of Muslims, in my version, are those that are physically and mentally strong to face the problems in the future, and also those that are close to Allah and their religion. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. My name is Hannah, and when I'm asked the question, what do I think about the next Muslim generation, I immediately think about the internet. With the rise in technological advances of the early 21st century and the usage of social media, I feel like the world is more interconnected. Personally, I see that within the next generation, people are more encouraged to voice their opinions and judgments both online and in person, including criticism on Islam. This naturally leads to questions arising about the religion you follow. Some Muslims get lost in this information, whereas others become steadfast. Because the next Muslim generation are constantly exposed to lots of information, they will learn to filter out and select what they personally deem as right and wrong, and aren't as gullible to simply believe what they hear or read. Overall, at a deeper level, I think that many will start to think more critically at a younger age. Another effect of the internet is that it will slowly erase misconceptions about Islam over time. By using social media platforms, we can show that we also lead similar lives and that we are not the same as the stereotypical characters we often see in movies. Emergence of Muslim representation in the media, such as the Pfizer vaccine and more role models, will also give the next generation confidence to be proud of their Muslim identity as they defy the wrong stereotypes. It also allows non-Muslims to understand Islamic teachings too. This is my take on the next Muslim generation. Thank you for listening. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
A lot of Muslims, like nowadays, try to blend in with the modern lifestyle. I'm talking about the younger generation. A lot of younger people nowadays, they try to do that. I mean it's their choice, but I expect us as the younger generation, as the young generation of Muslims, to keep our faith and hold the rule of Islam throughout our daily life.
The next Muslim generation is young Muslims who practice Islamic values in daily life, contribute big roles in the community, become leaders in their academic field, and inspiring young people globally.
The next generation of Muslims are young Muslims who have a willingness to learn the Islamic teachings from both the Quran and the Hadith, further to be able to apply those values derived from the teachings to continuously improve ourselves in the eyes of Allah and be a valuable and beneficial asset to both our Islamic communities and the world community as a whole.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Felicia, and I'm going to discuss one of the many things the future generation of Muslims will have to face: the safekeeping and continuation of correct Islamic traditions and passages. Muslims today get influences and impacts from multiple sources, be it social media, the internet, or books. When these sources are compared, they often tend to be unagreed upon and, even worse, unreliable. Even more often than so, we as Muslims get exposed to what is called a new age of Muslims, where in reality we can see images of groups of people praying the wrong formation, the wrong order, and even worse, with complete disregard to the Prophet ﷺ's way of teaching. This would eventually lead to complete disharmony amongst the body of Muslims, who, because of their different influences, have different concepts and different approaches to basic Islamic mindsets. As the world develops in achieving equality for everyone, Muslims old and new will have to understand new concepts and themes which will begin being normalized in the future. These new concepts and themes will have to correlate and be aligned to the words of the Quran and also follow the Islamic traditions. And to add on, as Muslim stereotypes begin taken down, Muslims and non-Muslims alike will have to learn the ways of one another and continue to evoke not only the word of Islam, but the kindness and necessity of honoring basic human values and kindness. To finish, as the future of the Muslim generation, we have to team together in understanding and maintaining the original way of the Prophet ﷺ, as well as spread the right messages that our ancestors have left us to spread. And that is my opinion on the future of the Muslim generation. Thank you, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So after hearing their answers, what do you think of the next Muslim generation?
Do we have? Okay. So I guess this is probably one of your best sources around if you want to ask how do you navigate technology, right? I'm a software engineer myself, but I'm just a junior, so still small here. So on the other hand here, Pak Ridho here, he is a software engineer as well, much more veteran, much more experienced one with technology than myself. He found several software startups. He's currently also very active with the Islam community in the US, whether that's in Portland or in the US in general. He's the outreach director currently of IMSA, Indonesian Muslim Society in America. So, Mas Ridho, Pak Ridho, are you with us?
Yes.
Yes.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The floor is all yours. Tell us about I think we should know about this current issue.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahilladzi nahmaduhu wa nasta'inu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina may yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlil fala hadiya lahu. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarika lah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu la nabiyya ba'da. Alhamdulillah. First of all, I would like to thank many people that make this event possible. I'd like to thank His Excellency Honorable Indonesian Ambassador to Qatar, Bapak Ridwan Hassan, for his time with us today. And also Ustadz Sudirman Sattar, Chairman Kajian MADANI Qatar, and as well as Bapak Ahmad Sharnubi, Chairman of PERMIQA. And also all brothers and sisters that help organize and make this event possible for all of us today. Alhamdulillah, we are given the opportunity to meet here, and inshallah we ask for barakah from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala that He make us benefit from this event, and also we can also later we share with others, our friends and family and relatives, what the points of this event, inshallah, the lessons. So let me share my today I'm gonna talk about next Muslim generation. Mas Akhir, can I just share right now? Or?
Yes, I think
I can share it. Okay, Bismillah. So my topics will be the developing successful next Muslim generation. This is part of the Muslim youth series that we have here. So we have a series of presentation or lessons for the youth here. One of them is this one, and many of them related to the topics of faith, basically, like the existence of Allah, and then the problem of evil, and then why Islam, and all these questions asked by the youth. But today we're gonna talk about this, inshallah. So welcome to 21st century. So we are, 21st century. That means after the year of 2000, right? So the 21st. So we, I think you guys know already all these advancement of science and technology. This is the space station, Mars rover, auto driving cars, and then this one is very amazing. This one is a nanotechnology, like very small chip, and it contains hundreds of pages of history books. So now we can create that. And also we know that our bioengineering technology right now can create, stem cells and mutants and, all kind of medicines and vaccine for the pandemics, right? And then the smart glasses and artificial intelligence, this is not a movie anymore. This one is reality. People think like this is Terminator, but this one is reality already. So they can create robots that can be, move like men. So that's scary, I think. And also when you see a lot of artificial intelligence in everywhere, CCTV now, you can detect the pattern recognition, facial recognition. So you can see all these people that you can target, like blacklist or something. And also here, if you live in US, you can, I don't know if Qatar, you might have their Alexa or different assistants like Hey Google or Siri or Cortana. They're all artificial intelligence. So all this amazing science technology, but we as a human, we are still the same basically. We still need basic, necessary like food, clothing, shelter, and then all these social, needs, right? Like respect, love, and education. And people right now in this age, many of them, they don't think religion is relevant anymore. They said that religion is just, old-fashioned, like those for like middle age or it's antiquity, that you should not use it now because everybody now is, we have science, technology. There is no Adam and Eve. There's only evolution. So all this, mindset in this 21st century basically put the religion on the side. Maybe they use it for birth. People, baptize their children or akikah, something like that, or marriage or divorce. They use occasionally religion. So the fact is we share one planet, one Earth. Everybody's on Earth, along with its problem. There's tornado there. That's a fact. Like when I was at Purdue, Indiana, in 1990s, when you hear the siren, like everybody's run towards basement because that means there's the tornadoes coming. So when tornadoes coming, they can destroy everything on the spot. So basically, it's very powerful. So that's a scary one. Right now, with this amazing technology, we can only. It's very hard to prevent this because the event of the climate, the weather change is so what do you call that? So fluid basically. Like they try to use big data to detect and stuff. It's still not working. So. And also earthquake. The earthquake, still with the technology, we cannot detect because it's beyond us. It's underneath, right? Tectonic plates. We can only detect the vibration of the earth and with what do you call it? Seismic, the curve, right? And then the volcano. This is in Hawaii. This is in I think it's in Japan, or this one is the 1970s in San Francisco or something. So this is like the reality. And here, tsunami. Everybody knows about tsunami. When the earthquake happened in the ocean, right? It basically it's fluctuate and it caused the tsunami to hit the coastline and it destroy everything. Look at this. This is Aceh. This is Aceh. This is Thailand. And this is, if you go to Aceh, there's a museum. It's called Tsunami Museum. You can see. They have this model, different, yeah. So like models, yeah. And this what happened at this time, right? Since 2020, pandemic, virus. See, we are so arrogant. We think like we know everything. The virus, even you cannot. It's the smallest, yeah, tiny, and then it's overwhelmed. Everybody overwhelmed. America is the highest right now. I don't know, it's like already 300,000 died. And then look at these workers, right? All this, it's already, they already overwhelmed and hospitals full. Last time, I think Mbak Carissa mentioned about when it hit New York, it's very, very fast and they could not prepare for it. The mayor, the governor, you have to like bury people. They buried people like with the trucks. Because the morgue, they could not contain any more bodies. And that's in New York. I have friends that also passed away there because of this COVID. They're like Muslim activists as well. So they hit everybody, not differentiate. And this is the biggest one, and we're still waiting. Asteroid. So this NASA already prepared with all these major countries to create a plan. What about if there is an asteroid or comet try to come to Earth? And that's it. That's basically the end of days. Like all these verses in the Quran, the chapter in the Quran, إذا السماء انشقت, all these إذا السماء, like al-buruj and not al-buruj, al-inshiqaq, when the rise of the the ocean, and when the earth just split asunder, all these things, Allah already predict. So we don't know when, but it will happen, NASA said. So they try to prevent this. But look at this. This is in Arizona. I went there last time. It hits this like 1 million years ago. When it hits, people theorize that it destroy or make the dinosaur extinct. And look at these points. These all the hit by meteorites. So there, you saw that a couple of years ago, right, in Russia. Like it's like atomic bombs. Like everybody's scared of the sound and the lights. Like the night, it becomes like daytime. The lights. So, but those are something that we cannot control. But most of our problems on Earth is people problems. Look at what happened this year. This is war in the Middle East. It's before the war is so beautiful here. All these, the cities, and it's all gone. In here, racism. This is Ku Klux Klan in America. When I was in college, they were rallying in the downtown with this. So we are like colored people. We we hide. We don't wanna. Sometimes some racists throw beer bottle, like, go back to your country. So this is racism. So this is real reality, not fiction or movies. And this is shootings in the school. How many shootings last time, right? In Maryland, elementary school, they shot many kids there. One, crazy guy. And then this is Columbine, 2 guys. They are inspired by Matrix. Matrix, Keanu Reeves? With all this, they thought that our life is like dreams. It's like this is all like computer generated dreams. So when they die, that's a reality. So that's kind of like scary thoughts, like when you get that kind of mindset. And here is like and this is gangs, drug cartels. If you know that there's very violence, people, when they using drugs and as a business, they can kill and very, very violently, brutally. It's just beyond. I don't want to put the graphics. I know they're like 10 years old here, maybe. So here's another problems. Homeless. This is in Portland, my town here. This one here. You think America is like, it's like Portland used to be like really nice. Now look at this. The drugs, because of they got so much stress, and maybe they try to release the stress, frustration. This is in Seattle. You know what happened? Because of they could not afford rent anymore. It's called gentrification. Gentrification means that because of the industry becomes so booming in the area, and then this, like Silicon Valley, for example, right? So they increase. Yeah, they jack up the price, and many people who works for grocery stores or any small stores, they could not afford to live there anymore. So they kick them out and they just live here. I went there one time, and there's like so many. Actually, they have phones, they have TVs, but they just don't have home or shelter. So that's. And here's, we know all these plastics waste. This is real. This is in Indonesia. So look at this, the animals, because of the plastics and all this waste on the ocean. This one also, this guy still surf with all this garbage. I don't know if it's, maybe it's I don't know if it's Photoshop or it looks real. And then global warming, right? people say that it's a hoax, but it's not a hoax. It's a climate change. Look at this, the data that we have. The temperature is always increasing here now. The factories creating all these pollutants, and Antarctic, they becomes, the ice melted, right? So the ocean surface will increase, and that's gonna be problem for example, islands in Indonesia. If everything's gone, then the ocean surface will rise. And this is deforestation. That means they cut all the trees without replanting the trees. So the CO2, the carbon dioxide, is not sucked by the trees anymore. It goes and basically deteriorate the atmosphere. And this is happened last summer. Look at this. This is in Portland, Oregon. This is daytime. It's like people say that it's the end of days, kiamat. This is at noontime, the red sky like this because of forest fire. Look at this. Forest fire, it caused all these red skies and the whole West Coast. I was with my family. Actually, we were trying to go to Yosemite, and then we got stuck because of forest fire. This forest fire, because of some people, they burned intentionally. So this is not because of the natural, but it's added to this natural condition because of the summertime. The sun is very hot, right? And then some people, they just they're probably like some intentional, some stupid. They use fireworks in the middle of the forest, and then it burns all this. And then look at this, all this West Coast got hit, and it's almost like more than 1 week. Actually, we had to stay inside the home. It's very dangerous. If you go out, your lungs might be affected, because this is usually between 0 to 10, right? The oxygen level, the pure air. But this one is already 500. Can you imagine that? 500, the numbers. So that's very scary. And this one is Indonesia. In Indonesia, Riau, right? It's frequent problems. Some people, they burn the forest there, and then the government already arrested some. So this becomes like not only Indonesian problem, but Singapore, Malaysian, they complain. This is all because of the hands of man. And this mentioned in the Quran that Allah give the taste of what they're doing, so they can think and go back to the right path. So what about youth problems? So here, maybe everybody knows, it's a generation of selfie. So when something happens, instead of solving or helping someone, they just like take their phones and record everything, and then try to post it on social media to get so many likes. If nobody likes their video, they will try to do another one. It's a selfie mentality. It's called narcissism. It's close to mental health problems. So this is what happened to many our young generation. So this is one thing that we need to, and this is a prevalent, what do you call that? Addiction game. I don't know how many people, of you that addiction to games. People play. Not only kids. Actually, there are some adults that got addicted to games. They're like hours and hours, even 24 hours. I have actually friends, and also in college, I had some friends that dropped out of college because of game addiction. That time there was no 1990s is MUD, multi-user dungeon. So they got addicted because of the addiction is coming because of your playing with people. You like to be praised, you put in ranks, so that's kind of addicted. So many of them drop out from college because of this. Look at this kid. His dad like, okay, get out of the house, get some, play game outside. So this is it's a major problem in our community as well. And here's, this is addicted to porn, porn. So people get addicted to different types, including porn and drugs, smoking, marijuana, alcohols, and free sex. And this a lot of cases here is a lot of teenage pregnancies outside marriage. So even one school here, I visited that school, and then I was wondering why there is a kindergarten next to high school. And actually, that's kindergarten is not separate from that high school. It's for a high school student that have babies. So that's kind of prevalent. Can you guys still see the slide?
Yes, we can see slides.
Okay. And this problem is lethargic. Basically, kids they don't get motivated to read, to study. So they just got, what do you call that? Apathetic. Like it doesn't have any motivation to do anything except sit in front of, computer or TV, binge watching Netflix for the whole nights, eating snacks, and instead of working out, they sleep.
Mas Ridho, I think there's a slight issue with the sound of your microphone. There's like a windy sound, like. Can you turn your microphone, perhaps?
Is it the sound of my computer?
Much better. Yes.
That's better. Okay.
Yeah, much
Hold on. All right.
Okay.
So here's the problem. Okay, sure. Here's the problem with the kids' rebellions to parents. So they don't want to listen to parents anymore. They think their parent is like stupid, idiots. It's beyond. They even yell at parents. They roll their eyes, and this bullying, it is widespread also. They bullied kids that seems like younger than them or weaker than them. They mock them and basically cause them to feel depressed and feel not accepted. And that's physical disease in cyber bullying. So many kids they committed suicide because of they got bullied online. You are ugly, you are fat, you are a loser, you have no friends. So it's a mean kids there. So be careful on this one. So all these problems cause many youth to ask, the basic questions. Why all this? Who am I? Where I'm from? And why am I here? What should I do here? Where am I going? So all these basic questions. It's a basic question everybody asks actually. When you start, start having critical thinking, you ask these questions. And if you don't have, these questions is important to be answered. Otherwise, people will not have direction. They don't know what to do with their lives. They don't have purpose. They can do anything what they want, and that causes problem for other people. So because of the confusions and no, a satisfactory answer, some people, like in our community, in Muslim community, they left Islam. So this is a new phenomenon. So it's like nearly 1 in 4 Muslims, so about 20% raised in the US left Islam. So they become atheists usually. So here's a letter by an imam. So parents wrote a letter to an imam saying that my 21 years old, he's a hafiz of a Quran, 30 Jews hafiz, declare himself atheist. So this is real. And I know one hafiz of Quran also, he's 19 years old. He also left Islam. He's a very active Muslims in the masjid. We can talk more about this later when question answer. But this is a real challenge for Muslim community. Okay, so if we look at the problems that we talked about before, we can see all these problems: war, racism, shootings, homeless. We can conclude with these 2 things: the root cause, human ego, and then ignorance. In the Quran, it's called zoluman jahula. In one of the verses, Allah mentioned about zoluman. The mankind is zoluman jahula, which is zulm and jahil. Jahil means ignorance. So we will address this inshallah. So because we are talking about successful next Muslim generation. So we need to know the basics, like what is the definition of the problem, what is the root cause, what is the successful, what is the criteria. So the successful generation is the generation that can resolve existing problems. So it produces less problem than before. If you're not successful, that means your problem is more. So our my kids, my grandkids, my grandkids, if they have more problems, that means they're not successful. To be successful, they have to resolve problems. So to make it less problem. So where to start? So first, as a Muslim, we need to go back to the basic. It's called like people here saying like back to square one. So sometimes that's why in the youth workshop we usually talk about the beginnings. What is the truth? How do we know about the truth? The definitions and all these things, until we talked about God and religion and so many religion. Which one is the one we should trust? So there's criteria. That's another topic. But this one, we already come up with this belief that the Quran is the guidance. This is in the Surah Al-Baqarah. Alif Lam Mim, Dhalikal Kitabu la Raiba Fi, Hudal lil Muttaqin. So it's guidance, Hudal lil Muttaqin, to those whose righteous or taqwa. And Rasulullah also said, right, in the when during the Hajatul Wada, that he left us two things, the Quran and Sunnah. So this one is since Adam, Allah mentioned this. So when Adam was put on earth, Allah said that I'm going to send revelation, wahi, guidance to you. Whoever follow my guidance, there will be no fear on them. This is the, the topic about, people asking like why we have so many problems, problem of evil, basically. The Quran already addressed all those actually. So after we know this, then next will be proactive. We know that Allah is already sent down the guidance, right? So those don't just stand there, just start working basically. So the first thing we should believe, we have the faith that Allah never changed the condition of people unless they change themselves. So this is the verse in the Quran, Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. And also, if you read the story of Musa, Prophet Moses, when he was running away from Pharaoh, right, Fir'aun, he met two girls, right, two women, and he tried to help them with the water from the well. So he brought he helped them to bring the water to their village, and they told their father, hire this guy. He's strong and trustworthy. So he's a good worker. Musa is strong and trustworthy. So that's proactive. You cannot just stay there. Sit there and watching people, doing the work, and you should do the work yourself. So to be proactive, you need to know like your what can you change. So like if you born with parents from Indonesia, you cannot. I don't know if you have maybe mixed marriage or your parents, you don't have blonde, you don't have blue eyes, or maybe if you dye your hair, but it's a given. It's your fate that you born with Indonesian blood, right? So or people here they cannot change. Like if you are like 5 feet tall, you want to become like 6 feet tall. I mean, if you already grow, right, the maximum, that's your fate basically. That's beyond your control. The one that we can control is the situation, your attitudes, right? So proactive people, they don't blame anyone. For example, you talk to your friend and they're nice to you, and then 5 minutes later, you found out that he talked behind your back, and he's talking badly about you. And it's like, if you are reactive people, you blame the circumstances. You will say like, oh, this guy is like two-faced liar, and like you basically like cursing him and stuff like that. That's reactive. It's not good. The proactive people, they will like open up. Like you talk to him nicely. You're like, what happened? I hear you talking about me. I feel I feel sad that you talk behind my back. But you forgive people, so you don't like keep grudge, and making the situation worse. So this is one thing. The other one, the other example here, for example, your parents ask you to do something, okay, clean your room, please. And then you'll say, I will try. That's reactive. That's not good. The proactive, I will do it. Or you know, oh, this is, I was born from poor family. I cannot do, you know, I cannot achieve that. You know, that's reactive. Proactive, I can do better than that. So let's see our options. Instead of I have to, I choose to. So this is, we need, to be successful, we need to be proactive instead of reactive. And we have to be, you know, to have this integrity instead of, you know, like, without any moral standard. This is given. It's called ma'ruf. That's why in the Quran, it's, there's a fitrah, right? So everybody is born with fitrah. So everyone, not only Muslims, but non-Muslims have this fitrah, the ma'ruf that inside their hearts. It's called, you know, like, we can call it integrity, basically. You know, everybody, they don't like lying. They don't like injustice. They don't like, you know, people cheating, right? So that's common sense. It's known when Allah create humans in the womb and, you know, blow the nafs, the ruh. This one is given. فَأَلْحَمَهَا فُجُورُهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَهَا مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. That's a free will Allah gives. Everybody, Allah is giving this. They have known some of the basics, moral standard inside their hearts. But during this journey in their lives, when they commit sins, the sin will cover their hearts. That's why كَلَّا بَلْ رَانَ عَلَى قُلُوبِهِمْ مَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ. The dots of these sins will cover these lights of the hearts. So that's why the revelation from times of Adam, it's try to remind people, hey, this is the standard from Allah. This is the guidance. So we have to, you know, like, make sure we understand the integrity. So we talked about success, and we always see success from the tip of this one here. People like, oh, that, you know, Mark Zuckerberg is like billionaire, you know, like he's making billions of dollars, you know, but you don't see what happened before that. Like what he stay up all night, many days, many weeks, you know, many successful people, they don't get that success just one night. They have to struggle. They have to, you know, Michael Jordan said that, you know, to be able to achieve his, you know, what do you call that? As a champion, he has to fail so many times, hundreds of times. He said. That's why he can, you know, learn from the failure. So this is what the iceberg illusion of success. And then as a Muslim, Rasulullah mentioned this because you kind of feel overwhelmed with so many tasks to do, you know, like I feel lazy and, you know, like, so Rasulullah already teach us so many dua. This is one of the dua. So you guys need to start, you know, memorizing dua, not only the Arabic, but also understand the meaning. So when you read the Arabic, you understand the meaning, you feel it. You feel you ask Allah from your hearts. Instead of, you know, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin, you know, you don't feel what you're talking to Allah, right? So you ask Allah. So when you say, Allahumma inni a'udzubika min al-hammi wal-hazani wal-ajizi wal-kasali wal-bukh wal-jubni wal-dala'i daini wa ghalabati rijal, you're asking Allah. If you don't memorize the Arabic, that's fine too. You can just read, because Allah knows any language. We try to read Arabic because we you know, try to remember Rasulullah saying something like this. We try to do the same thing, right? So people might, you know, like, it's better to know the original language because the translation might be wrong too. If you know Arabic, you know the original language is what. So okay, next is the plan. So after you have this passion, your mental mindset, right? So first, you already have that. What next? You have to make a plan. Allah mentioned in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu taqullah wa tanzur nafsum ma qaddamat lighadin. So every soul should look forwards what they're gonna do for tomorrow. And then Allah say, Wattaqullah innallaha khabirum bima ta'malun. And also, accompanying your taqwa when you make plan, make sure you have taqwa. Because you can have plans and your plan is evil, right? You can have an evil plan you're smart but you don't have taqwa, you can plan for stealing money or whatever, cheating or something. But taqwa need to be there before you make plan. So people don't plan for fail. They fail to plan. This is like some kind of sayings here. Failing to plan is planning to fail. So you need to plan. Everybody don't just like, oh, I don't need plan. It's all in my head. You know, and you know, maybe you are a genius. You can remember all the like 3 weeks before you like. It's very exceptional if you don't want to plan and you think you can remember everything. So when you do plan, you have to. This is known in every organization. Every organization, every corporation, company, usually before they make a product, they need to know like what we're gonna do. Okay, I'm gonna build an app. Okay, why that app? Why you create that app? Then how we create that after we understand, because you don't want to spend billions of dollars investment, right? You hire developers, you know, like you spend monies, you know, for HR and stuff like that, and then you create a problem that nobody use. You waste your time. So you need to say why you want to build that, why you want to go that route, and then after you know that, then you say how. So how we accomplish that. So this is the plan. Make plans. So before everything, you need to know your place. Your place on earth is what is your purpose? Remember the 5 questions. Who am I? Where was I? And why I'm here? What should I do? Where should I? Where am I going? All these questions is basically existential questions. People will ask this no matter what. So luckily that we have the guidance from Allah. The Quran is the guidance, Al-Huda, right? Al-Furqan, and also Allah said in the Quran, وَنُنَزِلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ الشِّفَاء وَرَحْمَةً لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. So Al-Quran already sent by Allah as a shifa and rahmah, blessing. So if you don't want to follow, that's your fault. But we have the answer. So here's our name card. Our name, our status, our purpose, our role, our mission, our vision. What's the difference between mission and vision? Mission is short term. Like to accomplish vision long term, we have to accomplish the missions. Vision is the long term, mission is the short term to accomplish long term. So maybe later we can share the slides.
We can go deeper into this. Yes. Mas Parido, we have about 10 minutes left, or 8 minutes left on the clock. Just
10 minutes. Okay. Yeah. So the plans also, we need to plan for when somebody dies. Rasulullah said that everything stopped, right? Except 3: sadaqah jariyah, knowledge, and the prayer from the pious descendant. So you plan for this, like, okay, I wanna be wealthy so I can build masjid, I can build hospital, I can build bridge. So that's sadaqah jariyah. When you die, that's the deeds of your building that, people use that, you still get rewards from Allah. The knowledge, when you write a book, when you teach people, when you become professor, your knowledge become knowledgeable, people share your knowledge, that's like multiplied. Even when you die, that knowledge will be will benefit you in the grave, in the hereafter. And then the descendant that pray for you, this is also the other one. So when you make plans, make sure that you have your mission achievable. Like if you're elementary school, make sure you got good grades, you accomplish your goal, like a science fair or a competition or extracurricular. If you're in college or grad school, you also plan for that, to be what you want to be. So many fields, like you can become police officer, nurse, or teacher, or doctors, or anything, scholar, imam, but the vision, you should be clear. You want to be a good Muslim that will be happy in this world and the hereafter. So Rasulullah said, "Khairun nas anfa'uhum linnas." The best of people are those who bring most benefit to mankind. So not only just write it down, right? You have to write it down with the goal and steps, and then you have to take action. Otherwise, it's just like on a piece of paper. To become reality, you need to do action on your plan. You can be love it, you're great at it, the world need it, you got paid for it. So that's the ideal. This is called the purpose, the right one. So if you know this, that's very lucky, because not many people can do this. They might have like great at it, love it, but you know, they don't get paid for it. So that's. And then after you make plan, make dua to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, because Allah always, you know, even though people say that it's far away, you know, God, the creator of the universe, is far greater than us. We are just small speck, you know, and dust in the universe. But Allah said, "Fa-inni qarib." Allah's close, even closer to your jugular vein in your neck. So it's like if you have a like a Bluetooth, you press the button, you talk, Allah here. You know, something like that analogy, right? So don't think like, okay, I'm too far from Allah, Allah will not listen to me. So that's like you have negative thinking about Allah. And if you don't have, if your plan doesn't work, you think about other plans. So plan A did not work, but the alphabet has 25 more letters. A, B, C, D, E, Z, right? And then the answer to the prayer can be postponed by Allah. And maybe Allah have something better in mind. Like this girl, he did not get accepted because of his hijab to be nurse. But then, I mean, she did not get accepted to become nurse, but she became a doctor instead. So here's the cartoon that, you know, like he was late. He was like, I plan to, you know, sail with this boat, but no, you know, and then it's like, why my dua never granted by Allah? And he doesn't know this is Titanic. So you never know. So that's. So Imam Shafi'i said that my heart is at ease, knowing what was meant for me will never miss me, and that what missed me was never meant for me. This Imam Shafi'i said.
Concept of qadr.
Yeah. So sometimes people think that they make plans, but it's not as expected. So they say that, okay, why I want a big house? Why I got this house? But Rasulullah said, don't look to those above you, but those below you. So it remembers Allah favors on you. So you're thankful to Allah. You say, Alhamdulillah, my house is like this. So you keep saying Alhamdulillah, because every time you say Alhamdulillah, it's increase your, you know, your happiness in your hearts. Instead of your complaining, it's become stressful. So maybe we stop at this, or how many minutes, Mas Akhir?
We have roughly 34 minutes left, so we cannot probably go through everything. We can briefly go through the rest of the, you know, best habits to follow.
Sure.
I think.
Sure.
And a quick recap of everything.
Okay. So this is the managing time. So this is very important. Allah said in the Quran, "Wal asr innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilu solihat wa tawassaw bil haqq wa tawassaw bis sabr." Right? So everybody's lost. Allah said it's already destined. Like, except those who have faith and those who do righteous deeds. Right? And then not only that, you have to, because you deal with people, you need to be you know, advise one another of the truth and advise one another to be patient. Because living in this earth, you need to be patient. Earth is not like paradise. When you don't like fire, fire is hot, right? Even you say I don't like fire, fire is hot. That's the natural law that Allah put. If you know, that means you need to live your life on earth with all these environments, all these natural laws. That means you need to be patient. Everybody should advise one another. So Rasulullah mentioned about 2 blessings that people waste: health and free times. So how many times, if we play like games for hours and hours and hours, you can study so many programming language, for example, and you got hired by Google. Even you are still high school, people got hired by Google. You know, and when you got hired since high school, you can become like architect, you know, like 5 years ahead. Everybody. So this is, people need to prioritize. And people think about this, right? So these rocks and small rocks and, you know, pebbles and sands. You know, the question is like, can you fill everything in one jar? So people put the sands first, you know, and then the rocks, it won't fit. So the solution will be put the big rocks first, then the small rocks, the pebbles, and then the sand, then it fit. So the analogy is the big rock is your highest priority, your highest priority, your ibadah, your relationship with your parents, your health, that will be your priority, the highest priority. The pebbles, the medium pebbles is your day-to-day, like you need to accomplish that, right? And then all this sand is that something that is not that urgent. So you put it at the end after everything else. You should not put the sands first. Then you don't, people regret that they spend hours and hours entertaining themselves and they forgot about their families, their got divorced and everything. So you have to prioritize. So this is very good chart here. So you need to differentiate between important and urgent, and not important and not urgent. So this one here, important and urgent, do it right away. Don't procrastinate. This one you can put it like aside, but all still need to be executed, like exercise, reading practice. Not important but urgent, like you think like you can answer all the phone calls every time you're in a meeting, like phone calls and emails. No, put it aside. It's not, even though if it's except if it's really really urgent, then you have to answer. Not important, not urgent. Too much TV, too much game, peer pressure, all this you can put it aside. I don't mean that you should not enjoy yourself, because you should relieve your stress once in a while, right? Like you can play game, but you have to manage the time. Instead of the game controlling you, your daily activities, you control your time. Here's like an example. You can create your own chart. Like start creating your own chart. Hours and then time for you, time for your for others, for parents. You put it there. And this just a cartoon. Like people try to they basically forgot to focus, because of social media.
that happens to a lot of us.
Yeah, this me. I forgot what I came here for, the searching engine, like Google. I forgot. And then Facebook. I want to clean something. Oh, look, Facebook. Okay, so before everything else, you need to make sure you spend more time in sharpening your skill. Like you want to apply jobs, right? You need to make sure you spend more hours, before interview, right? So that's the same thing. You manage your time. Okay, so that's time now is related to social dealing, like with other people. See, like people.
We are quite short on time, so sure. I think we can review.
We can start with the question answer, I guess.
We can revisit the next habit. So, inshallah, thank you, Jazakallah khairan, Mas Pak Ridho, for sharing, mashallah, the different issues that we face, the guidance, or how we can go about it, right? There's like several versions of Quran that I think we would encourage everyone to look at. Maybe Pak Ridho, you can share it in the presentation later on. And then habits, yes, that we can do in order to tackle all these issues and become a better Muslim ourselves for the next generation. So these three you mentioned, about being proactive, right? About making plans, about managing time. So inshallah, I think this is going to be quite useful for all of us. So we're opening the floor for questions and for discussions. Actually, if I recall, do you have a closing statement, Pak Ridho?
Hold on. Basically, this one here. So the key success. Yeah. Should I start now?
Yeah, you can finish this slide, and then
all right.
We can go ahead.
So this is the summary of everything. Basically, you have to have self-improvement, because remember the two things, zoluman jahula. Everything's root cause of the problem is the ego or the nafs, right? Yourself, and the knowledge. So you have to have these 5 points here. You have to make plans and manage your time properly. Otherwise, you will regret. You cannot rewind the time. When you are like 10 years old, you can start learning coding, for example, right? When you are 14, you already built your own apps, or something like that. Prioritize your time. Or you can memorize the whole Quran, and even understanding the the meaning, the tafsir, self-control. This is not only for yourself, but also towards others. For yourself is you try to, control yourself from, lust, seeing, addiction towards, different opposite sex, for example, self-control. And then towards others, like when you got angry, you self-control, you anger management. Help others, like charity, good deeds. You need to be able to make sure your intention is good, not showing off to people. Riya, and then sum'ah, you mention, or good deeds. Hey, I donate that to the masjid actually. That's sum'ah. And then ujub, you feel you're better than others. So that's ujub. So make sure you do the help and the charity, everything's lillahi ta'ala. And continuous improvement. Not, you should not stop learning, stop reading. Always reading, always learning, and always, exercise. Make sure you stay fit. And inshallah, always keep Allah in your daily activities. Recite daily zikir, daily Quran. Don't forget every day Quran. Always read the Quran, and don't only the Arabic but the translation, inshallah. And maybe that's one thing that inshallah, if you do all this, our next generation will be a successful one.
Inshallah, there's one question here about. I'll just visit one. So let's see. How can we be, things like continuous improvement, things like self-control, things like time management, right? I think all of us, if you are 14 and above, I guarantee that probably you have at some point tried to make a list of what you want to achieve in a even writing it down maybe in a piece of paper, put it like in your wallpaper, and then 3 months later you visit back, is like, where did we go? What happened? That's completely off track. So that's one thing. And also with the religion, in general, Pak Ridho, how do we be istiqamah? How do we have, consistency for our learning, for our iman, for our habits, when there's a lot of things that are distracting us, and like there's a lot of information, coming to us and like bringing us in this direction, pulling us into different directions?
That's frequently asked question actually. So that kind of question, it comes down to our relationship with Allah. Like if you are doing all this ibadah, that's my feelings, my own feelings. If I do all this ibadah and close to Allah, you never know. Allah answer it like this, like quick. You ask like, Allah, I need this, and then you have good relationship. I sometimes here I live with my colleague, my college roommates. When I was in Bachelor, after high school, I came here. So I live with non-Muslim roommates, atheists, agnostics, and then Christian Bible study guy. And I was from Indonesia. I don't know much about. They ask me questions like, when I make wudu, they ask, why you make wudu three times? Because I 3 times. But they ask this question because they close to you, right? They will not ask if they are not close, because it's a personal question. Yes. So when I make zikir, 33, they ask my roommates, like I was in the room, and what is that? Why you do like this with your hands? It's remembrance of God. Why the numbers? He said, like, why you pray 2, 4, now 3? So this one is something that beyond us, right? So I didn't know the answer that time. I was like, I don't know. That's given. And then you ask Allah, I don't know the answer about this. And Allah gives you some solution. Like when my friend cook water, right? The water's boiling, right? And I asked, like, Jeff, why the water boil at 212 Fahrenheit? Why not 100? Right? It's a number. It's basically the number in the universe. I asked him, like, okay, why you have 2 eyes? Why you have 5 fingers? Why you have, all this number in the universe, and you never ask why? It's given, right? So the same thing with our numbers. Why tawaf 7 times? Why you have to do this 2.5%? All these numbers is basically the same thing, like in the universe. So. So to be consistent, you have to be stay close with Allah, and then don't forget dua, dhikr when you walk. For example, I go to Grand Canyon, right? It's so amazing, right? When you see that, you say Subhanallah. You don't say like, oh, so cool, I mean, it's okay to say that, but you say Subhanallah. Yeah, you feel it like this is something, you know, amazing. You know, when you see the performance on the stage, what happened? It's amazing performance. You stand up and you clap, right? Applaud.
Yeah.
But why we don't say that? This is amazing creation. Like you see coral reefs, colorful fish, right? You see, subhanallah, you know. So that's something that every day you have to remind yourself. I mean, we are not angels. We do mistakes. We commit sins. But the Muslims, Rasulullah said, always istighfar. You know, like try to, not like some people. They just, you know, they like their sin and they just, you know, commit all the sins all the way. You know, they don't even come back. So the Muslims, the believers, when they do mistakes, they come back. Right? So that's, we are not angels, but we try our best. So that's, the relationship with Allah is the important thing that you know, I feel like to be consistent, inshallah.
Okay, type, and I think that's probably going to be the case. Okay, fine. I wish we could have more questions, I guess, all around, but I think time is running short. If you may, I think we could stay behind and or like answer questions in the chat or later on. Aisha is asking for a clarification about something that you said. So maybe that needs to be there as well. But I think we could answer most of these questions offline. And we can publish one Google Docs where, you know, everyone can see the answers of different things. But again, shukran jazakallah khair, Pak Ridha. Thank you for sharing the insights. Thank you for sharing, you know, how we can, I think, improve ourselves. And while you were speaking, I myself just put out a list now of short-term goals. I have not done that in a while, so it was a good remember. It was a good reminder. Thank you all. So I will give this back to Mas Henry to, I think, close for some closing statements. But I think in general, before that, I think in general, to conclude, for everyone here, right, that, you know, the next Muslim generations, we really have a different set of issues than, you know, what our parents or what our older brothers have had. We're very much more connected with technology, which is very much altering, you know, how we interact with information and stuff. So at one point, again, you know, we have to have that basic social structure that helps each other with Islam in these tough times, right? Because nobody can traverse this age by themselves. I'm pretty confident of that. So yani, always find something. I think I asked a question earlier also in the chat for people. Yani, how do you think we can you know, connect with others, with other Muslims all around the world? Or if you're a minority, several answers are there. You know, you can try to find it online. You can try to find some with Islamic society. In each country, usually you can find some sort of Islamic society, right? With the person, the answer here from Akila is from Taiwan Islamic Society, and of course in the US you have your organization, IMSA, right? And I guess if you're in universities, you can try to connect with MSAs like I did, Muslim Student Associations, in there. No organization is generally perfect, but it's a good step, to try to increase your knowledge. And of course, personally, that link with Allah, you know, has to be there, so that, you know, it will help you with all the other things as well. I guess that's my attempt for summarizing everything in that was talked about. Again, jazakallah khair. Thank you all. Jazakumullah khair. May Allah reward with good for all of our speakers here who has shared a lot of knowledge with us. So yeah, well, I'll now give it back to us, Henry, my good friend. Take it off and close the session. Jazakallah khair. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Brother Hen, and all the speakers. So now we are moving almost in the end of our program today. Before I close that, on behalf of the committee of the next Muslim generation, again, we would like to apologize for any technical glitch during this entire of the events. And then I hope we get a lot of benefit for the speakers of today. So let's close our event by saying Alhamdulillah, and then recite the doa kafaratul. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Thank you very much for all the participation, all the speaker, Pak Dubes, and all the committee. And then I will see you in the next event. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and have a good day.